Welcome to the 2.0 conference.
Thank you so much.
Of course, it's a pleasure to have you here. May you start off by introducing yourself and the organization you're with?
Yeah, I'm Janine Hamner Holman. I'm the CEO of the J&J Consulting Group.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. And you are a CXO 2.0 conference honoree.
That's right.
How did it feel to receive recognition for your accomplishments?
It felt really great. It felt the, that like sense of approval, that feeling of acknowledgement. You know, one of the things that we all need in life is acknowledgement. And it's one of the things I work with organizations on, actually, is how to really acknowledge your people in a way that's going to work for them. And so it was really fun to be acknowledged in that way.
Well, it looks like it was confirmation that you're on the right path. And again, it is always nice to receive that recognition.
Absolutely.
So again, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It.
I really appreciate it.
And what advice would you have for someone that wants to follow in your footsteps?
Follow in my footsteps in terms of being an entrepreneur.
As in achieving what you have achieved, and yes, being an entrepreneur.
You know, like many of us, my path has been quite nonlinear. I spent the first almost 20 years of my career working for nonprofit organizations. And then in 2008, when the economy got bad again, I took a step back and ended up getting recruited by a Fortune 200 company and worked for them for 8 years.
Wow.
And what was really interesting to me was that all the stuff that was happening among people, the good stuff and the bad stuff, didn't matter if you were in a little nonprofit organization or in a big corporate setting with 44,000 employees, because, you know, people are people.
Yeah.
And so I got really interested in the dynamics that were happening around leadership, around managing people well, around the things that the millennials and the Gen Zs coming up behind them, your generation,
correct,
are really pushing for and demanding.
Yes.
And, you know, I mean, I've always wanted a boss who cared about me as an individual. I've always wanted somebody who was interested in my career path. And that's what your generation is demanding. And if you don't get it, you will leave.
And that is very much correct.
And that's the thing that's very different in the workplace today. And so I decided to kind of get behind that and push and help organizations make that transition so that they can respond to the world of leadership, which has really fundamentally changed.
Yes, and kind of like, in a sense, cut down that turnaround that companies are having. So it
That's
looks
right.
like, yeah, your services are very much needed. And where can others continue to reach you? That way they can get in contact for either a collaboration or just receive advice from you.
Sure. The best way to reach me is actually through LinkedIn. I'm the only Janine Hamner Holman there. So that's the best way to find me.
Perfect. There we have it. LinkedIn. And can you go ahead and please tell us your perceptions about the workplace and changing?
Yeah, well, so as I alluded to, like, the world has fundamentally changed. And I was actually having a conversation recently with a professor at the Harvard Business School. And we were having this debate about whether the changes that have happened in terms of really the pressure that the millennials and the Gen Zs are putting on the workforce, if this is temporary and things are going to swing back, which was his perspective, or if this is permanent and things are not going to swing back. And, you know, I've worked with over 100 organizations over, 30 some odd years of my career. And in my perspective, things have fundamentally changed.
I agree.
Yeah. And so what it takes to be a leader now and what it takes to manage people well is totally different. We were never talking about emotional intelligence. We were never talking about psychological safety at work. We were never talking about conscious leadership. And so that's what I work with organizations on.
It was almost frowned upon at
exactly,
a point,
right?
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence, like that's really sounds like a
what is
girl
that?
kind of thing, right? And the U.S. Air Force and the National Football League here in America have both adapted emotional intelligence as cores of what they teach, right? The National Football League and the U.S. Navy and Air Force. So pretty male organizations have realized that this is key to their success. And so, it's a brave new world out there. And so I help organizations adapt to that change and develop resilience. Because the other thing is, I just heard somebody, one of the leaders of the big think tanks, talking about how in the last 4 years, we have had, all of us, we've undergone more change than anybody else has in our lifetimes in the last 4 years. And so, if we're feeling burned out, if we're feeling exhausted, if we're feeling having, mental health issues and depression and anxiety, that's why.
Yeah.
So it's okay. But then what do we do about it? How do we develop, right? How do we develop that resilience, both as individuals and as organizations? And so I've been working with folks a lot recently on that.
Well, that's great that we have someone that like you that provides these types of services, because again, it doesn't look like this is a trend. It looks like it's a change. So,
that's right.
Yep. All right. Well, it was a pleasure having you here.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you so much.
Of course. And I hope to see you return next year. And again, congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.